does 70-something-year-old Bill Belichick have his eye on the ball here? How much of Mr. No Distractions, do your job, keep the main thing has been weakened by this wannabe starlet Jordan Hudson?
You know what's wild? 6 Super Bowl rings, 8 total championships, 333 NFL wins, and yet on September 1st, 2025, none of that mattered because Bill Belichick, the hoodie, the legend, the guy who turned Tom Brady into Tom Brady, just got absolutely demolished in his college football debut. And the craziest part about all this is nobody's even talking about the score anymore. They're talking about the 24-year-old former cheerleader who might be running the whole show. So real quick before we get to the content, we are currently looking for a short form video editor. This is an editor that would specialize in making TikToks, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts. If this is an area of expertise and you're passionate about making sports content with me, then send your best video that you've ever worked on to my email, theflightmike@gmail.com, and you may end up working with me in the future on content like this. And real quick, we just have one more announcement. Our NFL debut play that was posted on my Instagram story hit for $250, and our Dak Prescott free square play is looking good so far. But now PrizePicks gave us an additional free square. Lamar Jackson just needs 1 passing yard for his square to cash, and to take advantage of this opportunity, this is who I'm pairing him with. First, make sure you sign up for PrizePicks by clicking in the link in the description down below, or use my promo code Mikerophone to get $50 in lineups when you make a play of $5 or more. Once you do that, take Lamar Jackson's free square, obviously. Then take Baker Mayfield to go over 14.5 rush yards versus Atlanta. He's been over this in 4 of his last 5 games. And then take Joe Flacco to throw for over 241.5 pass yards versus the worst defense in the NFL. There's no question in my mind that that game's going to be a shootout. You put $25 down, you can make $150. On top of that, we partnered with Fantasy Aces to get you even more plays. These guys are on the cutting edge when it comes to researching the best lines to give you an edge, and since it's the earliest part of the season, the chances of you hitting are significantly higher because Vegas doesn't have statistical data to go off of early in the season. If you're interested in that, check out the WAP link in my description down below, and thank you PrizePicks for today's sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It's Monday night in Chapel Hill. The lights are bright. Michael freaking Jordan is in the building. No, not that Michael Jordan.
The corny kid, right?
This Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. For those of you guys that disagree, we could debate this on my basketball channel, The Flight Mike. But not only is Michael Jordan there, NFL legends that Bill Belichick has coached are also there. Lawrence Taylor's there. Randy Moss is watching from a suite. This is supposed to be the coronation of college football's newest king. The 73-year-old mastermind who won more playoff games than any coach in NFL history is about to show these college kids how the pros do it. And to be honest, the beginning of this game went great. 7 minutes into the game and everything's perfect. The Tar Heels march down the field. They score a touchdown on their opening drive. The ESPN cameras cut to the VIP suite. There he is, his airness himself, Michael Jordan, pumping his fist, and right next to him, a blonde 24-year-old in sparkly Carolina blue pants that would make a disco ball jealous. That's Jordan Hudson, and trust me, she's about to become way more important to the story than any touchdown that was scored. Let's talk about what happened on the field because it was historic, just not in the way that Bill Belichick wanted. After that opening touchdown, TCU proceeded to score 41 unanswered points. 41! Let that sink in. And this isn't like a team that was known to be a dominant offensive juggernaut. I want you to think about this for a second. The defensive genius who held the LA Rams to 3 points in a Super Bowl gave up 48 to a team that went 5-7 last year. By the third quarter, fans were literally streaming out of the stadium like it was on fire. Kirk Herbstreit was caught on a hot mic saying either you're bad or they're bad.
They're bad. Oh.
The quarterback Gio Lopez had 4 completions, not just in the first quarter, not in the first half of play, but in the entire game. While Bill Belichick was getting embarrassed on the field, the real drama was happening everywhere else because Jordan Hudson isn't just some girlfriend sitting in the stand. She's, well, let me show you what she's become. Remember the moment before the game when the cameras caught Hudson on the sideline talking to Belichick during warm-ups? The internet went crazy because here's the thing. Back in June, Bill Belichick specifically told reporters that Jordan Hudson doesn't have any role in the UNC football program, but there she was, not just at the game, but on the field before kickoff, chatting with the head coach while the team warmed up. And this isn't the first time. Let me take you all the way back to April, the spring game at UNC. Hudson shows up to practice wearing a snakeskin miniskirt, white boots, and a matching trench coat like she's about to walk a runway in Milan instead of watching college kids run drills. There's literally video on TikTok of her adjusting Belichick's microphone on the field. But wait, it gets weirder. According to emails uncovered by Axios and the Assembly, when Bill Belichick first got hired, he immediately requested that Jordan Hudson be copied on all of his emails. All of them. She's literally identified herself in emails as the chief operating officer of Belichick Productions. She instructed UNC's social media team on how to announce the hiring of Steve Belichick, Bill's son, as the defensive coordinator, writing that it can be easily misinterpreted that Steve is simply benefiting from nepotism, but that is not the case. We should think about that for a second. A 24-year-old former Bridgewater State cheerleader is telling a major university how to handle their football program's PR, and they're listening. Now, you might be thinking, okay, she's just really involved. What's the big deal? Well, let me tell you about what happened with CBS. On April 27, 2025, Belichick sits down with CBS Sunday Morning to promote his new book. It should have been a softball interview, talk about football, share some Patriot stories, sell some books. Instead, it became one of the most awkward moments in sports media history. The reporter, Tony DeCouple, asks a very simple question. How did you two meet?
How did you guys meet?
Before Belichick can even open his mouth from off camera, you hear Hudson's voice saying,
Not talking about this.
No.
No.
The camera pans to show Hudson sitting at a desk in the corner, and DeCouple has to add in voiceover that she was a constant presence during the interview. But what CBS showed you was just the tip of the iceberg. According to NBC Sports, Hudson interrupted multiple times throughout the interview. At one point, she reportedly stormed off the set and delayed shooting for 30 minutes. CBS executives had to get involved just to salvage enough footage to air something on television. Hudson was the only person who accompanied Belichick to the interview. No PR team from UNC, nobody from his book publisher, just her. Belichick later released a statement claiming CBS created a false narrative and that Hudson was just doing her job to keep the interview on track. CBS fired back saying there were no preconditions or limitations to the conversation. The whole thing was a disaster. Now, if you think this is just a one-off instance, what about the fact that we were robbed of one of the greatest pieces of television that a football fan could ever dream of? You guys remember Hard Knocks, right? The HBO series that goes behind the scenes with NFL teams? Well, North Carolina was supposed to get their own version. It was a done deal. They had a press release written with a quote from Belichick saying he was excited to show off UNC's tremendous leadership. NFL Films was literally supposed to start filming on March 1st. Then, Jordan Hudson got involved. According to multiple sources who spoke to The Athletic and the New York Times, Hudson demanded to be named an executive producer. She wanted content approval. She wanted partial ownership of the show. She reportedly told NFL Films executives that they needed to treat her with respect or they wouldn't get to use the coach's IP. Keep in mind, not even NFL head coaches get final cut on Hard Knocks. The show is controlled by the league. But Hudson thought she could just waltz in and take over the production. The NFL's response was just killing the entire project. Jessica Body, the NFL's vice president for commercial operations, sent an email to UNC saying that the conversation took a turn that we were not comfortable with. Think about what that means. UNC lost out on a massive HBO documentary series that would have given them national exposure, recruited players, and built their brand, all because Belichick's girlfriend wanted to be in charge. And get this, producers later found out that Hudson was secretly negotiating with another production company called Everwonder to do a different series at the same time. The situation got so bad that in May, journalist Pablo Torre reported that two sources at UNC told him that Hudson had been banned from the football facility. The university immediately released a statement denying it, saying, while Jordan is not an employee at the University of Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. But read that statement carefully. They're not saying she should be there, they're saying she's welcome. That's like saying your friend's annoying girlfriend is welcome at poker night. It's technically true, but everybody knows what you really mean, and bro, you don't ever bring your girl to poker night. Torrey later clarified that when he said ban, he meant the university told Hudson that you're not wanted here, you cannot be here. But it wasn't like they had snipers ready to take her out if she showed up. Still, the fact that this even became a conversation shows how messy things had gotten. For those of you guys saying that I'm overreacting, I don't think I'm the only football fan that is concerned by Belichick's behavior throughout all this. I mean, Belichick's own family is reportedly extraordinarily concerned about Hudson's influence. There's a deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be for not just North Carolina, but Bill's legacy, his reputation, and everything that he has built and worked for over decades. Even former Patriots players are weighing in. Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski defended Hudson on their podcast, saying that she's playing the Burge role, referring to Burge Nigerian, who was the Patriots director of football. Gronk said that she's becoming his representative on top of being a girlfriend, but here's the thing. Burge Nigerian was a football executive with decades of experience, not a 24-year-old who was cheerleading in college 3 years ago. The UNC players, for their part, are trying to stay diplomatic. Kamon Rucker told ESPN that social media can promote some narrative, but that was not a distraction to us at all. We'd never really see her in the building. Their quarterback Gio Lopez admitted that I log on my phone and see something about Coach Belichick, so it is different, of course. Look, here's what's really happening here. Bill Belichick, one of the greatest football minds of all time, is trying to rebuild his career at 73 years old. He's getting paid $10 million a year to turn around a program that hasn't won a major bowl game since 2019. And instead of the story being about X's and O's, it's about his girlfriend showing up to practice in designer outfits and killing HBO deals. The Monday Night Massacre against TCU, that should have been the story. A team that scored on its first drive and then gave up 41 straight points, a quarterback who completed 4 passes all game, fans leaving in the third quarter of the head coach's debut, but instead, everyone's talking about the 24-year-old in sparkly pants who might be calling the shots behind the scenes. There were literally signs in the crowd with Belichick and Hudson doing beach yoga. You know, that viral photo where she's balanced on his feet? Dave Portnoy called it an all-time top 1 sign. There were Jordan number 23 jerseys playing off of the Michael Jordan connection. Someone even made a Hair Jordan t-shirt referencing the CBS interview where she shut down questions about their relationship. The opposing team's players are making TikToks about it. Sports media can't stop talking about it. And Bill Belichick, the guy who once gave one-word answers to beat reporters for 24 years, now has his personal life as the biggest story in college football. After the game, Bill Belichick kept it brief. They were clearly the better team tonight. They deserved to win, and they did it decisively. No mention of the drama, no mention of Jordan, just football. But that's the thing, it's never just football anymore. Here's my take. Bill Belichick is trying to prove that he can win without Tom Brady, without the Patriots organization, without the NFL structure that he dominated for 2 decades. But he's also trying to do it with a 24-year-old beauty pageant contestant effectively acting as his chief of staff, publicists, girlfriend, and apparently the executive producer of any media content involving him. This isn't about age gaps or personal relationships, because plenty of coaches have younger partners. This is about someone with no football experience, no media training, and no business background inserting herself into one of the highest profile coaching situations in all of sports. And whether Belichick admits it or not, it's become a massive distraction. The Belichick of New England had a zero tolerance policy for distractions. I mean, he cut Antonio Brown after a week because of his off the field issues. And I'm not saying he was wrong to do that, but that gives you an idea of his tolerance for off the field distractions. The Tar Heels have Charlotte next week. They're 14-point favorites despite looking like a JV team against TCU. The question isn't whether they'll win, it's whether anyone will be watching the game or just waiting for the next Hudson sighting. Bill Belichick once famously said, "Do your job." But right now, the biggest question in Chapel Hill isn't about the defense or the offense or the special teams, it's about whose job it is to really run this program. And based on Monday night, nobody seems to know the answer. The legend who built a dynasty in New England might be building something in North Carolina too, but it's starting to look less like a football program and more like a reality show. And unlike the Patriots dynasty, this one might be over before it even begins. But it's not only Bill Belichick that had a very rough debut. Arch Manning looked terrible in his debut against Bill Belichick's former defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. On top of that, we have a huge update on the Micah Parsons situation. An injury to Micah just completely flipped this trade on top of its head. Both of these videos are going to be in the end screen. I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.